Tyler here, time to talk a little fantasy football. Big weekend in the NFL. 4 games on the slate, Tyler. I know that means you've been tinkering, putting together your daily fantasy lineups over the past few days. So hook us up with your optimal lineup for the weekend.
All right, optimal lineup looks like this. I'm going to go with Russell Wilson at quarterback. There has been no game played in Atlanta's Dome Stadium this year where the two teams combined for less than 55 points. There's going to be offense, and I think Russell Wilson will attack that Atlanta secondary through the air. I know Vic Beasley's been a better pass rusher, but I think Russell Wilson's in line for a 3-touchdown game, maybe even adds one on the ground. There's going to be a lot of scoring, so I wanted some exposure to that. I'm starting at the quarterback position. I want Le'Veon Bell so bad. I just can't afford him. He's $10,500, so I'll save $2,000 and go for Ezekiel Elliott, who did run all over the Green Bay Packers the last time he played them at Lambeau Field. Spencer Ware back in the lineup against Pittsburgh. I think that's going to be a sneaky good game, and Ware is going to get a lot of touches in that one. And the only way for Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers to beat the Dallas Cowboys is throw all over him. Dallas 26th in the NFL in passing yards allowed per game, so I'm expecting Devontae Adams and Randall Cobb to get 10, 15 targets apiece. Remember, Jordy Nelson probably not going to play in this game, and even if he does, he's going to be used as a decoy. So both wide receivers are very stackable together. My third wide receiver is Paul Richardson. I'm going back to that Seattle offense because, again, I want to attack that Atlanta secondary, and Richardson, he's now getting a lot of targets. With the injury to Tyler Lockett, he proved he's worth it making those highlight reel catches. In Seattle's win against Detroit, Jared Cook, again, need pass catchers as many as I can fit from the Green Bay offense against Dallas because Ty Montgomery not being 100%, I think they're just going to put the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hands and say, win this game for us on the road, and I think they will win the game. And then I have Tevin Coleman. I wanted Devontae Freeman, but I couldn't pay the freight, so I'll save some money. Devontae Coleman's barely over $4,000, or Tevin Coleman, is barely over $4,000. And I know Seattle has a very good run defense, but Coleman's a guy who in 8 to 12, maybe 15 touches can give you 100 yards and a touchdown. I think Coleman, I'll just pay for the cheaper option in that backfield and hope that he's the one who breaks it with his big playability. And then, of course, you have to have the Patriots defense. What are the chances that the Texans score 1 touchdown in this game?
Slim.
It's going to be like a 38-3 game, so load up on that Patriots defense. They'll probably cash out at somewhere around 15 to 20 points.
I believe when the Patriots played them in the regular season, Houston didn't score at all.
0.
So, yeah, that bodes well for that Patriots defense. Now we've got your optimal lineup. We want to do a little rapid fire for the folks who just want a few tidbits to help round out their lineup. First up, Tyler, who is your must-start player this weekend?
Well, like I said, Le'Veon Bell is the most expensive, and you're never going to get a reason why you shouldn't play Le'Veon Bell. It's just too much money. I can't pay the $10,500 freight for Le'Veon Bell. So Randall Cobb is actually the guy I think you need to have in all of your lineups. Dollar for dollar, Randall Cobb only $5,700. We saw him score 3 touchdowns against the
New York
Giants in the wild card round. Pardon me for getting that opponent there. But I don't think he's going to score 3 touchdowns. But again, with no Jordy, Randall Cobb immediately is going to be one of the top 2 targets for Aaron Rodgers. So I'm, again, expecting 10, 12, maybe even 15 targets for Randall Cobb, 100 yards and a touchdown or 2. Not out of the question at all. And he's under $6,000 on DraftKings. So I love that price. That's why dollar for dollar, I think he's a must-have. Le'Veon Bell's obviously the top play. But dollar for dollar, I think Randall Cobb's the best.
You love Cobb, so who is the guy that you're staying away from, the guy to avoid?
Ben Roethlisberger. Games on the road. Games on the road. Ben Roethlisberger has these drastic home road splits.
Absolutely.
When he plays at Heinz Field, it's like the equivalent of a batter going to Coors Field in baseball. He puts up big numbers, and we saw that especially in the first couple of drives hooking up with Antonio Brown in the wild card round for Big Ben. On the other hand, when he goes on the road, and Kansas City is one of the toughest places to play in the world, they'll have Justin Houston back on that defense. That defense is really good. I expect this to be a good, tight game, but maybe a low-scoring game. If I'm getting a Pittsburgh Steeler, it's going to be Le'Veon Bell, if I can afford him. But Big Ben, I think he's probably, outside of Brock Osweiler, my least favorite quarterback. I might even go with Alex Smith over Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, I think Ben on the road this year, maybe 9 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
He's just not the same.
The split's not good away from Heinz Field. Who is your value play for the divisional round?
You saw him in my optimal lineup. I think it's Tevin Coleman, a big play offensive weapon for Kyle Shanahan in that Atlanta offense. I expect this Seattle-Atlanta game to be a high-scoring game, a 35-32 type of game, a 31-28 type of game. Nothing has happened inside the walls of that stadium in Atlanta this year where there's been defense played. It just doesn't. Defenses go to die. Atlanta puts up points, and they allow their opponents to put up points on that fast track. So I think, again, Seattle's going to win this game. That's why most of my exposure was with Russell Wilson and Paul Richardson. If you can get Doug Baldwin, I like it as well. But the cheapest option in that Atlanta offense, because they're going to score points too, is Tevin Coleman. Just over $4,000. I think Coleman can maybe break a long play or two and get in the end zone and provide some value for your lineup.